destination. Thank you all so much for taking the time to tune into this video, and if you are new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. So I want to apologize. I feel like I've been a little bit inconsistent on my YouTube channel the past few weeks, but there's just been a lot going on, and also recently I've just been spending a lot of time with my family, and that's something that I never want to apologize for because family time is very important. And ever since I moved out, it's just been really hard for all of us to spend time together as a family, and that's something that I've been missing. So I feel like that's why my mood and my anxiety has been through the roof. It's just because I'm still adjusting to, you know, moving out and everything like that. So the fact that we have been spending some family time together, it's really been helping me. So that's basically what's been going on behind the scenes. But as you can tell by the title of today's video, I am so beyond excited to be here today sniffing all of these fragrances because, as you can tell, it's going to be my rates, my reviews on almost all of the women's fragrances from the house of Parfums de Marly. I want to give a special shout out to my good friend Demi Rawling. I did meet her in person at Scent Explore this past year, this past November actually. I do have a vlog video all about that experience, which was phenomenal. It is a little bit on the darker side because at the time I didn't realize that my settings on this camera were a little bit off, so I apologize of how dark it is. But basically, I love her. Demi Rawling is such a sweet, sweet and genuine person. I absolutely love her channel, and she's actually the one who sparked my interest in perfumery specifically, because I've always been a fan of Bath & Body Works and Victoria's Secret fragrance mists, as you guys know, and I've always had a couple of perfumes in my collection, but ever since I stumbled across her channel a couple of years ago now at this point, I have just been in love with perfumes and trying out different ones. So basically, I asked you guys on Instagram if you wanted to see this, kind of like my rating and my review on each of the fragrances, because I was able to pick up some samples in each of the scents. The only one that I'm missing is Delina Exclusive. So that's the only one that I don't have here, but other than that, I have all the other ones. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. So I'm gonna go over each of the fragrances first and kind of give you guys a review on the individual fragrances, and then towards the end is where I'm going to rank these. So the first one that I'm going to review is the original Delina. Not the Delina Exclusive, but the original Delina. Delina has base notes of cashmere wood and musk, and the heart notes include Turkish rose and vanilla, and the top notes are rhubarb and lychee. So the only other experience that I've had with lychee being in a fragrance is, I think it's Wicked Dreamer, if I'm not mistaken, from Victoria's Secret. But other than that, I've never really tried a lychee in a perfume specifically, aside from this fragrance. So this fragrance is very popular. I think it's one of, if not the most popular fragrance from the house of Parfums de Marly. And I think it's all thanks to Demi Rawling. She talks about this scent non-stop on her channel, and so I feel like ever since she made that video, more people have been in on it. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first smelled this, I was a little bit scared to smell this at first, just because it's so hyped up of a fragrance that I wasn't sure, like, oh my gosh, is it gonna live up to the hype? So when I first smelled it, I'm not gonna lie, my first impression was like, it's good, but it's not like groundbreaking. So then I was like, you know what? No, I need to give this fragrance another try. So actually on Sunday, which was my mom's birthday, we went out for a little Sunday brunch to celebrate, and I wore the fragrance to brunch. And when we met up with her, she immediately smelled me and she was like, you smell really good. And I actually ended up bringing the sample along with me, so I also sprayed it on my mom, and it just smells so beautifully on the skin. So if you're somebody who is a little bit weary on like first impression of scents on paper strips, definitely try to test it out on your skin, because I'm telling you, it makes the biggest difference. So I can totally see why Delina is a big compliment getter, because my mom loved it. And even on her skin, like, it smelled beautifully. And then after, again, once I sprayed it on myself, I was like, yeah, this is a beautiful fragrance. I definitely get the tartness from the rhubarb. That's like the first initial impression that I get, is that it's a very tart fragrance. It's very tart, it's sweet, but it's also a little bit musky. I do get the musk. And it's also smooth. There's like a little bit of that smoothness in the background of the fragrance. I'm assuming that's from the cashmere. But it is gorgeous. This is a very beautiful, very feminine fragrance. And according to Demi, she said that the original Delina, this one is more fresh compared to the Delina Exclusive. I think the Delina Exclusive is more, like more sweet of a fragrance. I'm really excited to go ahead and try that one out. I have to place an order on eBay for like a decant. But this is absolutely phenomenal. I really, really enjoy this one. And I am so glad that I ended up giving this fragrance another chance, because this one is beautiful. And as far as longevity and projection, my mom could smell me and I wasn't like right next to her. Like I was sitting next to her, but not like, you know, like in her bubble. You know what I mean? So it definitely projects. But it's such a beautiful fragrance, you guys, especially as it dries down. Okay, so moving on to my next one here. This next sample that I have is in Shrewsbury. Now, this one. Okay, so the notes in here, the base notes are amber and patchouli. The heart notes are jasmine, iris, and tuberose, and the top notes are Italian mandarin and lavender. So upon first initial impression, when I first smelled this, I didn't like it. Like immediately I was like, this is not the fragrance for me. And after letting it sit even on my skin and on the paper strip, like on the dry down, I tried giving it a chance, and unfortunately this fragrance is just not for me. And I don't know why, because I typically like amber. Like I love the scent note amber in fragrances, so I don't know why I don't like this one. I definitely get the patchouli. I get the amber and the patchouli, that combination, the most. I definitely get the tuberose mixed with the lavender. The best way that I can describe this fragrance is that it's a patchouli floral. That's like the best way that I can describe it. It's a patchouli floral with amber. So if you're somebody who doesn't like patchouli, you're not going to like this, because it is very heavy on the patchouli, and even on the dry down, that scent does not dissipate. I mean, it is a base note, so it basically carries this fragrance. But yeah, it's just, this one's not my favorite, unfortunately. I told my mom that I was going to give this sample to her to try and see how she likes it on her skin. I can totally see this being worn by a more mature wearer. Again, not saying that fragrance is definitive and fragrance has an age range. Fragrance is subjective, so there's literally no rules when it comes to it, but this is just like what I interpret with my nose. For me, Shrewsbury is a no-go. This next one that I have here is in Darcy. This fragrance, I think, is controversial. I think people either love or hate this fragrance. I don't think there's an in-between with this one. I'm not gonna lie, I thought I wasn't going to like this one just reading the scent notes. So it has base notes of patchouli and musk. The heart notes are rose and jasmine, and then the top notes are bergamot and orange. And guys, I am telling you, I was so surprised by this fragrance and how much I actually like it. I like this fragrance, but I will say this is not going to be for everybody, so I highly suggest that you do not blind buy this one. Definitely get a sample of it first, because this one is not like a general people pleaser, and I can see why it's either like hit or miss with some. So I like this one, and Hubs likes this one too, and what he said was perfect, and even what I was envisioning in my head, Hubs just clarified it. So basically, when I smell this fragrance, I think of gothic beauty. I think of the aesthetic and the outfit that I'm in today. I'm in a black lace long sleeve top. I have a gothic lip going on. Like, I think of gothic beauty. This is a very dark and mysterious and sophisticated fragrance. And whenever I smell this fragrance, I just envision this beautiful, beautiful lady in this gorgeous black outfit with some fishnets on and some high like combat boots, and holding a black rose. Like, when I just smell this fragrance, I think of gothic beauty. And then when I had Hubs smell this, I was actually like in a similar outfit. I had a dark lip on, and Hubs was like, Yeah, I like that. He said it actually smells like what you're wearing and like what you're looking like right now. Like it smells dark and it smells deep. And as soon as he said that, I was like, yup, that just clarified it in my head. That this fragrance is like for gothic beauty and like gothic aesthetic. I love this one. I love this. This is definitely more of a nighttime fragrance or for just rainy days in general. It's been raining a lot here and I feel like when it's dreary outside and it's gloomy, this is the fragrance that I want to wear. It is so good. So good. But again, I do know that this fragrance is not a people pleaser, so if you guys don't like patchouli, you're not going to like this one. Even though this is heavy on patchouli, I can actually get the rose in here. I can definitely get the rose floral combination with the jasmine, and typically speaking, I'm not a fan of rose, but I can distinctly pick it out in this fragrance, and I think it's what's making this fragrance even more beautiful. I will admit, on my skin, this doesn't project. I think it sits a little bit closer to the skin, and the longevity is not that great on me. When I sprayed it on myself, I think it lasted about 3 hours, maybe 3.5 to 4 hours at most, but it really just wasn't that long lasting. But other than that, the fragrance itself is gorgeous. So this next fragrance is in Meliora. So Meliora has base notes of vanilla musk, heart notes of rose and ylang-ylang, and top notes of red berries and raspberry. So I love this one because this is very fresh. Even Demi said this as well. It's a very nice, fresh fragrance. When I think of this fragrance, when I smell it, I should say, I think of the springtime. So to me, this is a really nice spring and summer season type of fragrance. But I definitely get the raspberries and the red berries. That's like the #1 note that I'm smelling in here, aside from it being such a fresh fragrance. It's a very sweet one as well. Not artificially, not candy type of sweet. It almost has like a natural sweetness from the berries. But it's really, really nice. I love this one a lot. Again, this one is a really nice, just like fresh, fruity type of fragrance. I don't have experience wearing that one, so I can't comment on its longevity, but I really, really do like that one as well. So this next fragrance is in Casilli. I pronounce it Casilli. I know some people pronounce it as Casilli, but when I just first saw the name in my head, I was just like, Casilli. So the base notes are sandalwood, tonka bean, and vanilla pod. Heart notes of plum, accord, mimosa, absolute, plumeria, and Athalia. And then top notes of red currant, Bulgarian rose, and transparent white flowers. So I love this one. I love this one as well. This one is extremely fruity. Like, think of a fruity cocktail. Like, if you think of a fruity cocktail, that's basically what this smells like. Very, very fruity, and I can actually really get that plum in the undertone. But it's not sickening to me because I don't like plum scents. Like, I typically don't like the dark berries because they give me a headache, but I actually really like this one because it's still so bright of a fragrance. It's so bright, vibrant, and it's so fruity. This is perfect for the summertime. If you are somebody who loves your fruity scents, this one is a must-have. But I really, really like it. I get that plum note, I get the plum accord, and I also get that mimosa boozy aspect of it. But it's just really, really good. So I really, really like Casilli as well. So this next sample that I'm going to be smelling with you guys is in Safonan. So Safonan has base notes of amber and vanilla, heart notes of ylang-ylang and orange blossom, and top notes of orange and pear. So unfortunately, I don't think I like this one. I don't think I do. When I first smelled it, again, it was on the same lines as Shrewsbury, where I just was like, I don't like this one. I think Demi said that this has like almost like a marshmallowy vibe, and I totally get that. I totally get that. It almost has like a whipped, fluffy texture to it, and it's very sweet as well. But really all I'm getting is the amber and vanilla. I'm not getting the pear. I haven't tried it on my skin yet, so I can't give a definitive rating, but I just know that unfortunately this one is just not for me. But we'll see, we'll see. And the last sample that I have to smell with you guys is Athalia. So this actually looks a little bit different from my decants here. This was actually a carded sample that I received at Scent Explorer. And so the notes, I'm just reading it off of the carded sample here. It says, Athalia is highly sensual with an opening of incense, rose, and orange bitter, followed by a bouquet of iris and orange blossom on a base of amber, vanilla, and vetiver, giving the fragrance a floral amber accord. So this one, to me, I have mentioned this on my channel before. I love this one. So according to the Parfums de Marly website, the base notes are musk and vanilla, the heart note is orange blossom, and the top notes are incense and bitter orange. Guys, I love this one. This to me is like the perfect office fragrance. It's very sexy and it smells very professional at the same time. This to me is just perfect. I believe in my top holiday party fragrances video is where I featured this, and I said this would be the perfect holiday party fragrance for an office party setting. But it just smells very smooth, very creamy, and also very, very professional. I love the musk in here. I love the combination with the vanilla and the iris. It's powdery from that iris, but it's not like a mature powdery type of scent, because one reason why I don't like florals is how powdery they are, and it almost smells like sickening to me. But this one is very beautiful. I'm sorry if you guys hear the loud muffler noise. My neighbors like to do up their cars and put loud exhausts on them, so when they drive by, that's basically what's happening. But I love Athalia, and it also lasts. I believe the last time when I wore this, it actually lasted on my skin for like about 6 hours or so. It lasts, and I love that it's not an in-your-face type of fragrance. To me, Athalia, again, sits closer to the skin. I love that it's not a headache-inducing scent. So again, if you're somebody who's looking for more like professional fragrances, definitely try Athalia because it is so, so good. Okay, so let's go ahead and rank these babies, or I should say rate them. So Shrewsbury is definitely my least favorite. Out of a 10, I would give this one like a 4.5. I actually really don't like Shrewsbury. So yeah, this one I don't like. Personally, if I'm recommending fragrances, I don't recommend this one. But again, that's not to say that you won't like this as well. It's just for my nose, it's just not for me. So Shrewsbury is my least favorite, sitting at number 7. And sitting at number 6 is going to be Safonan. So like I said, Safonan just isn't the scent for me as well. It's very sweet, and it almost has like that marshmallowy vibe that Demi said. I can totally get that. But it's just not for me. And I think it's the orange blossom in here that's just like not sitting well with me. But yeah, this one is just, I don't like this one. So coming in at number 6 is Safonan. Totally not a recommendation from me. So for number 5, I'm actually kind of tied between Meliora and Casilli because I love both of these. These are both so good. But I think I like Meliora a little bit more, only because to me this is also year-round friendly, whereas Casilli to me is like strictly warmer weather. But I love them both. So Casilli is number 5. It's still a really nice fragrance. I love how fruity it is. But again, to me, it's more seasonal. So I feel like Casilli can only be worn in the spring and summer seasons. Okay, so coming in at number 4, like I said, is Meliora. I just love Meliora because it's a very fresh, fruity fragrance. Perfect for like when you step right out of the shower. It's really good. So Meliora is number 4. So Shrewsbury and Safonan, I would rate them less than 5 out of 10, to be honest with you. I really don't recommend those two. But Casilli, I would rate like a 7.5, and then Meliora, I would rate an 8. So my top 3, I'm sure you guys can guess what are my top 3 fragrances. So coming in at number 3 is Elena. So Elena is absolutely beautiful. This is such a gorgeous, bright, feminine fragrance. Definitely a compliment getter, and it also projects. It is my number 3 and not my number 1 because, again, my first initial impression was not positive for this fragrance. But after wearing it on my skin and, you know, spraying it on my mom's as well, I just love this fragrance, and I can totally see why it is very hyped up. I actually am like the 1000th person to recommend Delina. I really, really love that fragrance. It's so beautiful. Delina, I would rate an 8.5. So coming in at number 2 is Darcy. Darcy, I am giving a 9.5 rating because I love this one. But again, I feel like it's very situational. It's not a signature scent. It's not an everyday fragrance. I feel like it's only good for, again, dark gothic beauty, and also when it's raining outside, because whenever I just think of this fragrance or smell it, it's very, very dark. So this is definitely an evening, and also very good for date night. Very, very good for date night if you're in like a sexy black dress. Yes, Darcy. Darcy is really good. Again, I rate it a 9.5. And my number 1 recommendation, and the number 1 that is 10 out of 10 for me, is Athalia. I love this one. This one is foolproof. It's so gorgeous, so professional, so sexy, but also it's conservative at the same time. I love the powderiness of the iris that's in here. I love the musk and the creaminess of the vanilla. It is gorgeous. Now, I know that the Parfums de Marly fragrances, these are expensive. They're about $300, $320, depending on where you purchase from, but they are expensive. So you definitely want to purchase samples if you can to smell it and see if it's worth the investment. But for me personally, eventually I will definitely be purchasing a full-size bottle in Athalia for sure. Darcy and Delina. I can also picture myself picking up Meliora in the full size as well. But for Casilli, I think I could just get this in like a nice 30ml decant size or something like that, just so I have it on hand. But definitely Darcy, Athalia, and Delina, for me, I will be definitely picking up full-size bottles in. But Meliora is a scent that it's like, if I had the extra money type of thing, like I'll definitely pick this up, but it's not like a priority. My priority right now is picking up Athalia and Darcy for sure, and then Delina. The only thing I'm gonna say is definitely be wary about Darcy, because I have a feeling Darcy is very hit or miss. You're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. So I happen to be one of those who loves it. It's just such a daring fragrance that it's not going to be a people pleaser. So yes guys, that concludes my thoughts and my reviews on almost all of the women's fragrances from Parfums de Marly. Again, I'm so excited to have these samples, and I can't wait to continue trying them out and seeing how they work on my skin. Who knows, maybe I'm actually going to fall in love with Shrewsbury and Safonan. Who knows? I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have smelled any of the Parfums de Marly fragrances from the women's line, definitely let me know in the comments what you think and which ones are your favorite. So I'm gonna go ahead and go, and I will chit chat with you guys in my next video. Peace!